Just hit a button, Morty, give me a beat!
Oh man, okay, alright,
How Pep Guardiola's 3-3-4 dominated Arteta's 4-3-3, Manchester City 1, Arsenal 0 tactical analysis. If you're looking for cheap, good quality football jerseys, go over to www.jerseyfifa.com where they have the new season's jerseys available from just $25 and they have retro jerseys as well. A link will be left in the description, and if you use the coupon code ATLANTISFOOTBALL, you'll get 5% off. This game was a tactical battle between two similar managers. In the end, the Professor Pep Guardiola outscored his student MIKEL Arteta, with City winning the game 1-0 and having an XG of 1.43 to Arsenal's 0.84. The XG timing chart showed that City dominated in terms of XG throughout the game, but what did Pep do to achieve this? So going into the game, Pep lined up his side in what looked to be a 4-2-3-1 shape but would change throughout different points in the game. Edison started in goal with Cancelo at right back, Ake appeared to be the left back with Walker and Diaz playing as a centre back partnership, Rodri and Bernardo Silva playing as the two in central midfield, with Foden from the left, Mahrez from the right and Sterling playing in behind Aguero. Arteta used what appeared to be a 4-3-3, which like Pep's system would change throughout different points in the game. Leno started in goal with Bellerin at right back, Tierney as a left back with the centre back pairing of Gabriel and David Luiz, Granit Xhaka, Dani Ceballos and Saka played as a midfield three with Aubameyang playing from the left, Pepe from the right and Willian starting as a false number 9. So we saw from the start of the game both sides were using very fluid systems that would vary between the different zones on the pitch. When we look at City in possession, we saw them use a 3-1-4-2 shape where the back three of Walker, Diaz and Ake would stretch wide to create a base for City to circulate the ball from side to side. Rodri dropped in as a single pivot and Cancelo and Bernardo Silva acted as the wide points of a diamond, as Sterling would drop deep to become the point of the central midfield diamond. What was unusual was that the width in the City system was coming from Foden and Mahrez rather than the supposed fullbacks. Ake played as a wide centre back and Cancelo played as an inverted wing back, moving into a wide central midfield position. To combat this when out of possession, Arteta instructed his side to press aggressively during City's build-up in a 4-3-3 shape that would move to a 4-2-3-1 when Xhaka would push up from the midfield line to man-to-man press Rodri. When City were able to beat the press, moving the ball into the middle third, Arsenal would then drop into a 4-3-3 shape, with Saka playing as the left-sided midfielder, who would then drop into a left wing-back position when Arsenal defended in their defensive third, which would create a 5-4-1 out of possession. In possession, Arteta's 5-4-1 became a 2-3-2-3 shape, resembling a usual 4-3-3 possession shape, with Tierney pulling out to the left back position, Saka moving infield and Xhaka playing as a regista, dropping deep from the midfield to provide a passing option. Arsenal's main point of progression was looking for passes, breaking the lines of the City system to find Saka or Willian in behind the City midfield. Saka was playing as the most advanced central midfielder in the midfield three and would push up a lot higher on that left side. However, City's defensive shape limited the space in these areas, making it difficult for Arsenal to progress the ball into the City defensive third. City's pressing system was also very fluid, as when in Arsenal's defensive third, they were extremely effective at stopping Arsenal progressing the ball with short passes through the centre of the pitch. They pressed in what appeared to be a 3-3-4 shape, with a front four of Mahrez and Foden either side of Sterling and Aguero leading the press. With 4 players in the frontline press rather than the usual 3, City were excellent at stopping Arsenal from playing passes between the lines of their pressing shape, as when Aguero pressurised the centre-back, Sterling would position himself in a way that would cut off the passing lane into the Arsenal central midfielder that had dropped deep to collect the ball. Mahrez was cutting off the passing into Tierney, Sterling and Aguero were tasked with cutting off the passing lane into Xhaka and pressing the right-sided centre-back, and Foden moved to press David Luiz on the right side, meaning that a lofted pass out to Bellerin was Arsenal's only real option, making Arsenal's play predictable and allowing City to press aggressively when the pass was made, usually resulting in a turnover in possession. The City midfield three behind would also man-to-man press the Arsenal midfielders, which was actually quite strange as it led to Cancelo and Saka both doing the same man-to-man press on each other when the opposition had possession. This is what led to both sides' pressing systems seeming a little distorted, with City's right wing back Cancelo being drawn inside to press Saka when Arsenal had the ball, and Arsenal's left wing back Saka being drawn inside when Manchester City had the ball to press Cancelo. When Arsenal did beat Manchester City's press, they dropped into a 4-4-2 shape with Cancelo dropping back into the right back position. This allowed City to sit in a compact unit with Sterling and Aguero cutting off the passing lane into the Arsenal midfield 2 and the midfield 4 behind them closing off the passing lanes into the half space. City were a lot more effective at working the ball forward than Arteta's side, and this came from when they were able to drag Ceballos or Xhaka deep and stretch Arsenal's central midfield and have Aguero or Sterling drop into those spaces to pick up the ball. This is where City's goal came from, as Ceballos and Xhaka became disconnected, as Ceballos drops deep to reduce the space that Sterling has in behind the Arsenal midfield, but as he does this the ball gets shifted out to Mahrez, who comes back on his left foot, and now we can see the space in central midfield open up. Aguero drops into the space between Xhaka and Ceballos, and Mahrez' pass splits the two, allows Aguero to turn and run at the back line, from where his pass leads to Foden's shot, which rebounds into the path of Sterling, who puts it into the empty net. However, Willian and Saka weren't able to do this for Arsenal due to City's defensive shape being a lot more vertically compact than Arsenal's, so this space was not created for Arsenal to work the ball into. As the game went on, City became more and more dominant in possession, and we can see just how good Pep's possession system was. The 3-1-4-2 allowed City to create overloads on the flanks through their triangular positioning. When they moved the ball to the side, the wide centre-back, Walker in this case, acted as the bottom of the point of the diamond, moving the ball forward and forcing the Arsenal player on the left to move out to close him down. Mahrez holds his width, and this forces Saka or Tierney to be positioned wider as well, which therefore creates a bigger space ahead for the wide central midfielder, in this case Cancelo, to move into to create a triangular passing shape. City was so good on the ball, rarely ever dwelling on it too long or playing a lax pass, which enabled them to move the ball quickly from out to in, shifting the Arsenal midfield line and using the movement of players into the half spaces as a way of moving the ball into the final third, whereas Arsenal without Lacazette playing as a deep line forward weren't able to successfully work the ball into players between the lines, and thus were forced into dangerous passes into central midfield or forced to play long balls upfield. In the second half we saw similar patterns of play as City continued to use their 3-3-4 aggressive press, which continued to stifle Arsenal's possession system. Throughout the game, the only avenue where Arsenal were able to make headway into the City box was down the left channel, through Saka most often. Despite being positioned as a left-sided central midfielder in possession, Saka was being deployed as a Mezzala by Arteta, roaming into the left-sided half space and making runs in behind Cancelo. He was able to link with Aubameyang in the box with a quick 1-2, getting into a one-on-one shooting position, Arsenal's best move of the game, but wasn't able to finish past Edison. Manchester City really managed the game well, not dropping off from their aggressive press, which meant that Arsenal weren't able to get a foot in the game. Pep Guardiola realised that midway through the second half, it might be best to shore up the central midfield, both in and out of possession, so brought on Gundogan for Aguero, moved Foden into the false 9 position, and pushed Sterling out to the left, creating a more recognisable 4-3-3 possession shape. Out of possession, Pep persisted with the 4-4-2 in the middle third as it was working very effectively, so Bernardo pushed forward, creating a front 2 alongside Foden, and Rodri and Gundogan played as a midfield double pivot. Arteta's side did press fairly well throughout most of the game, and the use of Saka was very interesting and quite an effective tactic from the Spaniard. However, I think the main problem was that they weren't able to move the ball quickly enough when they won it. City are always vulnerable down the channels because of their high line. Arsenal should have been trying to use Aubameyang's runs down this side constantly, as this is where they had most success against City in the FA Cup last season. However, without Lacazette for the majority of the game, Arsenal lacked a focal point to link the attack, so found it hard to work the ball into a position where they could then play Aubameyang in down that left side. So overall, Pep's side won this game because of their vertically compact defensive shape, which didn't allow Arsenal to work the ball in between the lines, whereas Arsenal's press was not as vertically compact, leading to space developing between the midfield and the defence, which is where City's most threatening attacks came from. It will be interesting to see whether these problems become less significant when Partey comes into the starting lineup. I will be doing an analysis of that in the coming weeks, as well as an analysis of Saka's Mezzala inverted wingback row, so make sure you subscribe to the channel for that. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that video, remember to give the video a like, share it if possible, comment your thoughts on the game in the comment section below, and for more videos like this check the description, and for cheap good quality football jerseys the link will also be in the description.